Imagine a night sky thousands of years ago. Lightning strikes, mountains tremble, and the seas boil. Behind it all, the Greeks believed a being sat on a golden throne, controlling storms, laws, and the fate of humanity. His name was Zeus, king of the gods, ruler of Olympus, a god whose story is filled with love, wrath, and dark secrets rarely revealed. But who was Zeus? How did he emerge from rebellion, defeat the Titans, and then rule the cosmos? And was he truly invincible? Let's uncover the rarely told history of Greek mythology, tracing the life of the Lord of Lightning and the ultimate secret of his reign. The heavens of ancient Greece hold a story not everyone dares to whisper. Before Zeus's reign, the world was ruled by the Titans, an older generation of gods born from Uranus, the sky, and Gaia, the earth. Among them was Cronus, the youngest Titan, who overthrew his own father with a bloody sickle and ascended the throne of the cosmos. However, Cronus's reign was clouded by fear. A prophecy stated,
"One of your children will destroy you, as you destroy your father."
Fearing to lose his throne, Cronus swallowed every child born from his wife Rhea. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon all vanished into their father's womb. The world nearly lost a new generation of gods. But when the sixth child was born, Rhea devised a ruse. In a hidden cave on the island of Crete, she gave birth to the baby, who would later be known as Zeus. To deceive Cronus, Rhea handed him a stone wrapped in cloth, which Cronus swallowed without suspecting anything. Zeus grew up in secret, raised by nymphs and nursed by the sacred goat Amalthea. His every cry was masked by the dancing and the pounding of the Curetes warriors, who banged their shields so Cronus wouldn't hear. Some local stories even tell different versions. Some believe Zeus was born on Mount Ida, others on Mount Lycaon, where ancient rituals took place. From birth, Zeus's myth was divided, as if the world were vying for his birthplace. Zeus grew not only physically strong, but also cunning. He knew that to claim the throne he could not fight alone, and here begins the story of the greatest war of the gods, the Titanomachy, the war between the old and the new. Zeus returned to his father. Using a potion from the goddess Metis, he forced Cronus to vomit up his siblings. One by one, they emerged from the darkness. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon. Together, they formed the Olympian army. But fighting the Titans was no easy feat. Cronus still had his siblings, mighty Titans capable of shaking the earth. 10 years of war raged. Mountains were tossed, seas boiled, the heavens thundered. In desperation, Zeus freed the creatures imprisoned deep in Tartarus, the Hecatonchires, 100-armed giants, and the Cyclopes, one-eyed creatures skilled at forging cosmic weapons. In return, the Cyclopes gave gifts that changed history. The thunderbolt to Zeus, a deadly weapon of celestial light, the trident to Poseidon, the shaker of the seas, the helm of darkness to Hades, which rendered him invisible. With this weapon, the balance of war turned. The Titans fell one by one. Cronus was finally defeated, and then, along with his followers, was imprisoned in Tartarus, guarded by the Hecatonchires. However, there is another, less commonly told version. Some believe Cronus was not punished in Tartarus, but exiled to the Elysian Islands, where he ruled a golden age of peace. This myth shows that even Zeus's enemies had respected sides. After the Titans' defeat, the three brothers divided the world. Zeus received the sky, Poseidon the sea, and Hades the underworld. However, unlike his brothers, Zeus did not simply rule over territory. He became a symbol of the law of the cosmos. The starry sky, the lightning, and the falling rain all became signs of Zeus's power. From Olympus he sat on a golden throne, ruling over the gods. But being king was not without its problems. Zeus's power brought love, intrigue, and conflict far more devastating than the Titan wars. Zeus married Hera, the queen of the goddesses. But the marriage was far from peaceful. Zeus was known for his unbridled passion. He fell in love with goddesses, nymphs, and even mortals. Io, a priestess of Hera, was transformed into a white cow to conceal her relationship with Zeus. However, Hera discovered her, and Io was forced to wander, tormented by cursed flies. Leda, queen of Sparta, was approached by Zeus, who transformed her into a swan. From this story, Helen was born, who would later spark the Trojan War. Europa, a princess, was kidnapped by Zeus, who transformed her into a white bull and taken across the sea to Crete. Her name is now immortalized as the continent of Europe. Ganymedes, a Trojan prince, was taken by Zeus to Olympus to serve as cupbearer to the gods, a symbol of Zeus's love of youthful beauty. From his love, many great figures were born. Athena, born from his own head; Apollo and Artemis, the twins of light and moon; Hermes, the swift messenger; Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy; and even demigod heroes like Heracles and Perseus. However, Zeus was not absolute. Above him were the Moirae, goddesses of fate. Even Zeus was subject to the dictates of fate. When his son Sarpedon died in the Trojan War, Zeus wanted to help him, but fate forbade him. All he could do was rain down blood, mourning his son's death. For the Greeks, Zeus was more than just the ruler of lightning. He was also the guardian of guest law, Xenia, the overseer of oaths, Horkios, and even the protector of food stores, Ktesios. Great temples were built for him, including one at Olympia, where a 12-meter-high statue of Zeus stood, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. However, there was a darker side. In Arcadia, he was known as Zeus Lycaios, the god of light and shadow, associated with mysterious rituals that even reportedly involved human sacrifice. Zeus is a paradox, a mighty king, yet full of human weaknesses, a protector of the law, yet also a transgressor, ruler of Olympus, yet subject to fate. Perhaps that's why Zeus's story endures. Because he wasn't just a god in the sky, but a mirror of humanity, full of ambition, love, wrath, and vulnerability. So, when lightning struck the night sky, the ancient Greeks believed it wasn't just a storm. It was the voice of Zeus, king of the gods, a voice that reminded them that even supreme power always operates in the shadow of fate. Being king of the gods didn't mean Zeus was without threat. Even on Olympus itself, some dared to challenge his authority. One rarely told story is the rebellion of Hera, Poseidon, and Athena against Zeus. They felt Zeus was too harsh, arrogant, and often abused his power. Together with several other gods, they planned a coup. Zeus was eventually captured, bound in invisible chains, and imprisoned. The world was on the brink of chaos. However, the sea goddess Thetis freed Zeus by summoning Briareus, one of the 100-armed giants whom Zeus had once helped. With incredible strength, he broke Zeus's shackles. Zeus returned to his throne, enraged. He punished Hera by hanging her from the sky, her feet bound, and weights placed on both hands. Poseidon and Athena were forgiven, but fear of Zeus grew even greater on Olympus. This story shows that even among the gods, Zeus was not completely loved. He was respected, feared, and often hated. After the Titans, a more terrifying threat emerged: Typhon. Typhon was a giant monster, born of Gaia, enraged by the banishment of her children, the Titans, to Tartarus. From Typhon's body grew 1,000 dragon heads, his eyes spewed fire, and his voice was like a deafening storm. The battle between Zeus and Typhon is depicted as a cosmic war. Lightning met fire, mountains crumbled, and the sea churned. Ultimately, Zeus defeated Typhon and imprisoned him beneath Mount Etna, which is still believed to be the source of volcanic eruptions in Sicily. However, Typhon was only one of many creatures Zeus faced. There were also the Gigantes, giants who attempted to ascend Olympus in a war called the Gigantomachy. With the help of Heracles, Zeus and the gods defeated them. Interestingly, this story is often considered an allegory. Ancient humans tried to explain natural phenomena like earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and storms through stories of battles between gods and monsters. Zeus was not only the god of the gods, but also the ruler of the human world. He often descended to Earth, either to test, help, or even punish. One of the most famous stories is the Great Flood, similar to the story of Noah. Zeus saw that humanity had become too wicked, sinful, and disrespectful to the gods, so he decided to destroy humanity with a flood. However, one human survived, Deucalion and his wife Pyrrha. They built an ark, and after the waters receded, they were ordered to throw Mother's bone behind them. This meant a stone, and from that stone, a new human was born. On the other hand, Zeus was also known as the protector of the law of guest chastity, Xenia. Anyone who insulted a guest or broke an oath was considered to have defied Zeus. Another story comes from Prometheus, the wise titan who stole fire from mankind. Zeus was furious because fire was a symbol of divine power. He punished Prometheus by chaining him to a mountain, where every day an eagle ate his regenerated liver. This eternal punishment symbolized Zeus's wrath against anyone who defied his will. Although Zeus seemed invincible, even he could not defy fate. The Greeks believed that one day a final war would come, the Greek version of Ragnarok, when the gods themselves would come to an end. An ancient prophecy stated that Zeus would be overthrown by a child born to the goddess Metis, wisdom. Afraid the prophecy would come true, Zeus swallowed Metis while she was pregnant. But from his own head, Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom, was born. The child was not his overthrow, but rather his protector. However, another prophecy stated that one day the gods would fall, replaced by a new generation, either human or something greater. That is why Zeus's story is never ending. He is not only a symbol of power, but also of limitations. He is an eternal king, but also a sign that no power lasts forever. Zeus was more than just the god of thunder. He was a ruler born of deceit, survived through war, and remembered for both love and wrath. He upheld the law, but also often broke it. He was powerful, yet subject to fate. The story of Zeus is a mirror of humanity itself. Boundless ambition, unbridled love, and the idea that power, no matter how great, is always fragile in the face of time. So, every time lightning struck the night sky, the ancient Greeks believed it was the voice of Zeus, king of the gods, reminding us that behind glory, there always lies the end. And that is where the eternity of mythology begins.